Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the Talisman temptress herself, Sandy Reevy.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monday.
It is episode 138 and March 15th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, Monday, March 15th, Mercury ingress Pisces.
Lost and alone.
Tuesday, March 16th, Sun sextile Pluto.
Plug in.
Thursday, March 18th, Venus sextile Pluto.
Rejuvenation.
Saturday, March 20th, Sun ingress Aries.
Spring equinox.
And happy birthday, Aries. Sunday, March 21st, Venus ingress Aries.
She sharpens her sword.
Mercury sextile Uranus.
Air photo.
And Mars trine Saturn.
Are we still friends?
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up to be a scholar for society, to heal illness, and to develop a high level of intuition and inspire creativity. Then upcoming to reunite friends, to receive all goods and benefits, and to enjoy positive public attention. Then on the horizon, we have our last chance Venus and Pisces talismans, our April forecast coming up on Facebook Live, a she bead sale, and some other things you won't want to miss. Then in our house, it's Sandy's birthday week, so listen in to her solar return, future plans, and the excitement surrounding this milestone birthday. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, Talisman temptress.
Hi.
I should have called you like
thing.
birthday babe. I don't know what I was thinking on this one.
You can give me that title next week.
I'll do next
and that'll
week.
Be a
yes.
surprise.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was a busy week.
Twas.
Twas.
So I want to go direct to you all of you listeners. Thank you so much for listening in every week. This is really, such a special time for me and my mom just to, talk and to share our thoughts and ideas and to get creative with what we're going to share with you.
And even though, because we know that other people are going to hear it, we're like more in a focused, like plan here.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we do get these responses from you all. And so I want to share one from Sabina Mesner. And she's in Arizona. She says, Sandy's intention beads are instrumental in the true meaning of the word to help me specifically and solidify my long-term vision and life's purpose. I've been wearing my Soul Purpose Wealth bracelets since 2016 and have just upgraded them for the 2021 and beyond. I can't thank you enough for being in my life. I love you and your breathtakingly gorgeous contributions to everyone's creations. The vision you've had in your garden is alive and thriving.
Thank you, Sabine. I love you.
Yeah. And there are a couple of things I want to unpack here. One, so she's had her bracelets since 2016 and every once in a while, with the elastic, with the beads, with our relationship with our own talisman, they need a recharge every now and then. Either the elastic is getting a little stretched because, the benefit of having our elastic that has the braided cording, it's a garment elastic where if it pops, that elastic, which we've all had that experience.
With other bracelets.
Right, with those clear ones. And we even make some bracelets that have those clear ones, but they're not the really powerful, awesome talismans that, we want to hold true. So that braiding that's around the elastic acts as a parachute. So they don't go flying down. They just kind of like sink softly down. So when your bracelet needs to have that recharge. And what we do also, if you send in your bracelets too, there's an option to talk with Sandy for, 15 or 45 minutes just to regain that excitement and that commitment and that passion that we had when we first received our talisman.
And I actually share the chart so that you can re-engage with the energy, and you repeat the words again so that you engage with that and center that back into what your focus is. Because, sometimes we get distracted in a year or in a month.
Right.
So, yeah, and I've been doing a lot of those. I just saw another one come back for that this week.
Right. I mean, I think it's a great service. And when we can be held and witnessed with what our commitment is, it's so much more powerful. And I think that that's what ceremony and traditions have really grown for us as a human community, of being witness to something. And instead of just being sent a piece of paper that says, oh, you're now a citizen, having a celebration with loved ones around that can really be that powerful instrument that we can look back on, not just opening an envelope and saying it's here, but
to have an emotional connection.
The emotional connection.
Emotional memory.
Yes. So thank you so much, Sabina. We send you lots of love there in Arizona. So thanks for sending that in. So let's move on into the transits. Today, if you're listening on time, Monday, March 15th, Mercury ingress Pisces.
Yeah, this is by dinner time on Monday, lost and alone, because Mercury moves from into his detriment and his fall. This is the only planet that has one place, one sign in the chart that he is double debilitated.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's the only
That's
time.
interesting.
Yeah. So Mercury is considered the domicile or rulership in Virgo, which is the opposite sign, in addition to being in its exaltation in Virgo. And if you have it opposite, and we know the opposite of a rulership or domicile is always the detriment, and the opposite of the exaltation is the fall.
Okay.
So
not only does he get tripped up, he gets tripped up when there's like a cliff right in front of him, and then falls off the cliff into the murky waters, into the bubbly waters.
Abyss.
Yes.
And that's funny because what I've got written down here is I went back into some of my 9th, 7th, 9th, 10th century astrologers, and that in detriment it's considered worn down and sorrowful. So talk about trip up. And then the fall's definition is the downfall and being ignored. So that certainly is like falling off the cliff, right? Face planted somewhere. But I really want to talk, and I want to mention that I have this.
Natally. Yeah.
I have this natally. So Mercury moving into Pisces, just because I call it lost and alone, I might feel that because I might have felt that at one point in my early life and sometimes in this later part of my life. But it's sometimes important not to see the Virgoian aspects that Mercury brings. I believe, yes, it's lost and alone. That it's about imagination. It's about intuition. And so when you can move into the reasoning, from the reasoning, reasonable, common sensible, into the opposite of, well, maybe that could happen. That's a vision. That could be true. Versus, oh, that'll never happen. Right? And I think that's one thing that the Mercury and Pisces can give you, is a little bit of that musician talk, that artist, that writer, that poet. Now, interesting that depends on where, if anybody does have the Mercury and Pisces in their chart, mine happens to be mitigated, which works better for me in my career.
So we got a lot of terms coming at us right now. Mitigated too.
Yeah, well, in talisman making or even in electional astrology, you do want to look at taking a planet that's debilitated, not happy where it is, and try to mitigate it to an angle, particularly the ascendant or the midheaven. And this is to the midheaven that I got by taking my first breath. And so that's why it's helping in my career. If I tried to be
and
an
that's
accountant,
why you're the talisman temptress.
if I tried, that's a good point, because if I tried to be the pilot and all these tools and levers and dials and things, or I'm trying to be the accountant, right? I may not do so well there, but to be more in the artist flow.
Oh yeah.
And
You
to have
thrive.
conversations around what could be, like
Right.
like the imagination, the creative, like I can make some stuff up.
Well, and I like even what Sabina said in the going direct section, the vision you had in your garden is alive and thriving. I think that is such a wonderful depiction of when you have a vision, you can so follow through with it. And I think that that's a huge, benefit, because when Mercury stumbles, falls off the cliff and into those waters, he's completely in illusion or completely in imagination. Like it's a completely different world for him. And I think that that's where you can go. You can travel to that place to like submerge yourself and then see the entire vision, because you'll just close your eyes, you'll go somewhere else. And by the time you come out of that meditation, you're like, I know exactly what we're doing. So I think that's really
And
great.
we can do that now. We can call it lost and alone, but is it really? Right? It's feeling. He wants detail, perfection, and Pisces are like, let's just start it and see what happens. Let's see what comes out of it. And so that's why I called it lost and alone. But he can go into his side of where he needs occasionally to go dip his toes in and swim around there for a minute. Right?
Right.
Without any floaties on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no tools. He gets
Right.
no tools.
Right.
No support.
So let's move on. Tuesday, March 16th, Sun sextile Pluto.
Plug in. This is super for recharging your vitality. It's increased passion for what you want. It really is something that you can literally plug. It's like getting close to a outlet, right? Or we could call it an inlet. Why do they call those outlets anyway? Electrical outlets.
Because the electric is going out of that. And I guess it's also going in and
Right?
out.
I
because
know.
Yeah, you're right.
It's kind of like, hey, if I need some electric, I'm going to input this charger and put it in. Anyway, I just found that funny just now.
It's just
I've never
from a
thought of it
perspective,
like
I
that.
think.
I
Yeah.
guess I'm doing my Mercury in Pisces.
Yeah. Well, we can plug out too.
We can plug out and get what you can from this surge of energy coming in. It's Pluto. This is supercharged energy.
Great. I think we all need some of that. So Thursday, March 18th, Venus sextile Pluto.
Rejuvenation, baby. Yeah, make the most of all your relationships, or those other people that you know. All those people that you call. These are more about the one-on-one relationships, but it's about socialization. This is intensity and commitment. So it's about saying yes to something and being a woman or a man of your word. Right? Staying committed into that word. And if you need to change along the way, because it is powerful, is to be honest and open and clear about that. We have to remember that this next 3 weeks, Mercury is in Pisces. Things may be unclear on what you're imagining or hearing from someone, listening to, you might be writing something down like I just did and said, why am I doing something at 6:43 a.m.? And you said, maybe put it on a wrong date. But I did. So it's that kind of thing, doing some double check for the next really 3 weeks.
Okay.
Anyway.
And that Venus sextile Pluto is a time for empowering ourselves.
In attraction and relationships. It's like rejuvenating what we want and desire in a relationship. And here it comes in, right here at spring.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting, I'm going to get that in my locked in my solar return chart because my birthday's the next day.
Ooh, nice.
So this will be, cueing into what I want in a relationship and making that kind of commitment to say, you are my good friend, or, hey, if I'm out in a market and a dating market, there should just be a dating market, like a food market.
Oh, that would be that's a great
what?
idea.
I mean, I know they're called bars.
A singles farmer's market. But so I also want to say here too is that, we're talking a lot about this Venus sextile Pluto in relationship to others and being in relationship. But I also think that when we plug into ourselves, all those values and this is something you taught me from a very young age, all the values that you desire in a relationship, you also need to cultivate within yourself and within your relationship with yourself. Because if you are not giving yourself those values and those characteristics, then you can't really expect anyone else to give them to you. It's like an added bonus if they do, but and like jackpot, you found someone who's, there and kind of what you're looking for. But
because probably you cultivated those values and those ethic morals, or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
So that you attracted it, right? So you attract what you believe.
Right. And also you set the standard. I think that that's another huge thing of, that self-love. If you're willing to put your own self by the wayside, or whatever, values, that you're not willing to give yourself, you're not willing to receive them from someone else either. So anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, this is like plugging into renewable energy. It's like, this is not new energy. It's just, if you've lost it, plug out.
So Saturday, March 20th, Sun ingress Aries. First off, happy birthday, Aries.
Well, happy birthday, Aries. I thought you were wishing it to me. I'm like, I'm not an Aries.
Oh, no.
I'm a Pisces.
You're a Pisces. You're the day before.
I'm the day before. But yeah, at 4:37 a.m. on Saturday, the 20th, we get the spring equinox, and this is a portal. And so a day or two before and a day or two after, this is one of the, whether it's the halfway point or the stopping point to move in another direction. But equinox is equidistant. It's the halfway point. And so how do you come out of the ground? And from what latent, barren stage are you at now that you need to start producing your leaves and your branches and start beginning to show up again?
And letting the light in, because that's another time when the sun is equidistant. So like we're now going to be gaining more sunlight. And that's so exciting since we've been in a cave for the last too long.
Yeah. I trust that the last month has treated you well, and that you were able to console yourself or consolidate yourself or prepare yourself in a really kind of rejuvenation, as I was just talking about, so that you're ready for this next month, this time in spring equinox, when the sun moves into his exaltation of Aries, and he's very fiery here. He brings the heat.
Yay.
And he takes us from the cold into, and he's promising his warmth. And so definitely it's like a generation, an A generation.
Yes.
I really like this time. And of course, it's always
I'm really
my
liking
birthday.
this time for your birthday, especially. I agree, because
I got the very last day of the zodiac year. So I got March 19th, which is always the very last day, 29 degrees of Pisces, which is an interesting time frame. And I love that date.
And we're going to talk more about that in our house.
Ooh, okay.
So let's move on to our last day of the week. Sunday, March 21st, has 3 transits. The first, Venus ingress Aries.
She's got to sharpen her sword. She's moving into her detriment.
Okay.
Okay, let's back up here. She's come out of Pisces, where she was for about 3 weeks, where she was exalted, esteemed, respected, and ranked. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Esteemed, respected, and ranked. She's pretty high up there.
Yes.
Right? And she immediately moves into her detriment, worn down and sorrowful.
And like feeling like she has to prove something. You know, there has to be this like warrior attitude where she can't trust. She needs to become victorious.
And she makes her way with no bullshit.
Can we say that on the podcast? I'm going to have to make this an explicit.
You better ask your mom. I wrote it. It's like Venus, relationships, our individual self will not allow any frou-frou, any fake news, the falsamata we were talking about. So yeah, she's ready. She's come out of this lovely warm nest where she was cared for and was the honorary guest, and she has to move into this place where she has to fend for herself.
Yeah. And I personally, I have a natal connection to that. Mm-hmm. My Venus is in Aries, and I think that like I get a nickname, like I'm very like, I'm always up for the game. Mm-hmm. Like I like competition. I also greatly love friendly competition. It's not, you know, coming from a negative place, but yeah, that Venus ingress Aries is it's fun and it's sharp and it's exhilarating for me. And I know that it is in detriment and all of that stuff, but that just goes to show that even when something like Pisces or Mercury in Pisces is in its fall and detriment,
it still works.
It still works. And it's not like a terrible thing, because I just want to preface here, the first question I get asked when someone's about to sign up for an astrology reading, like, oh, is it going to be like, am I going to know all the bad things about myself? It's like, or
you've never looked at shadow, have you?
Yeah, that is another thing. But I mean, just the idea of like, you know, if somebody, I'll say, oh, you have a sun in Taurus and a moon in Leo. And they're like, oh, is that a bad thing? No, none of it is bad. And
yeah. Well, yeah. Venus in Aries, just like you know, the things that you desire, you do it yourself. You go out and get it. You achieve. You have no fear of moving quickly into that independent role that you've had to do things for yourself.
Mm. So let's move on to the second transit of the day, Mercury sextile Uranus.
I do like this day. Air photo. And this happens by 6:35 p.m., right around dinner time then. And because Mercury, the planet of thinking and messages, right, is in Pisces, okay, where it has to be intuitive. It has to feel its way with his eyes closed almost and get sonar messages. And so this Uranus is really reminding me that it's something that you need to remember. There could be messages popping in, like they're so crashing in like big waves, if we're going to stay in the water theme. But if you quiet yourself, you close your eyes in order to picture this vision in your head, snap it and save it. Because that's what I mean by an air photo.
It's like an airfee. It's like a it's like a selfie, but in the air.
Right. And if we can just like, oh my God, I'll never let me picture this. Oh, here it is right there. Let me take a picture in my head, and I'm going to put that in my cluster, right? Or I put it in my Google Photos.
Oh wow. Look at you.
Wait, let me see if there's one other thing. Into my Discord file, into my Slack file.
Whoa.
Into my notes. Is there anything else that I've lost?
No, you've gotten it all.
Okay. I don't know how to use any of it, but I know about it.
So I like this idea of the air photo, because I think that that's a very special thing, because I think what's been happening with humanity is we haven't been taking enough air photos. We've been taking too many selfies with our cameras and taking videos. Mm-hmm. And it creates a big boundary between us and experiencing.
Well, can I add further onto that? You know what image you planted for me?
Tell me.
A recent commercial about one of the where you can go rent a house somewhere in the world, right?
Airbnb,
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
or Verbo.
And the dad, and it was his teenage daughter, and he said, we rented this house for a weekend away with the family, and it's the first time I saw my 16-year-old daughter's smile. They were out on a boat fishing.
Right.
It makes me want to cry right now. Where he said she put her phone down because she wanted to experience, and I got to see her smile.
Right.
Talk about a air photo.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what I thought of when you said that. It's like you can create.
And then watch the dad reaches in his pocket and quick snaps a photo of his daughter. I mean, you can imagine that because we're like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Like, hurry, this is amazing. And the first thing we think about is, where's my phone? I have to keep this forever. And we're not going to keep it forever because guess what? It's going to pile up in our Discords, in our Google Photos. We'll never go back until it's like funeral time and people have to do it for us. So like, come on. Like, let's take more air photos. I like this. I like this a lot. So let's move on to the third transit and final transit of the week, Mars trine Saturn.
This is astro interesting of the month.
Okay.
Yeah. This comes in at 9:35 p.m. Are we still friends? Question mark. Head tilt.
I feel like a
finger
lot of people
on
are
my
asking,
chin.
People are asking that question a lot. We don't know who.
Are
my friends still alive? Like, what's
seriously? Mars. Let's picture this. Mars is right now in Gemini. And he's trining Saturn in Aquarius. So there is these are the two malefics, and they're looking at each other. They're witnessing each other. I love that word. It's a traditional word. They're witnessing because they're in 120 degrees. So Mars gets to see Saturn in an easy, harmonious aspect. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's keep that in one side of our head, because for the last half of the year, Mars and Saturn, really half the year, more than that, like June of last year, have been square. Because Mars was in Aries in his retrograde, Aries, right, cardinal, and Saturn was in Capricorn, cardinal, squaring,
right,
literally for 5-6 months. Then Saturn moves into the next sign, Aquarius, and about, 2-ish weeks later, Mars moves into the next sign of Taurus, which is fixed, and now they're square again. So it has been square. So this, which is conflict.
Is this our first trine?
This is our first trine.
Woohoo!
In Mars, it was when it's retrograde, right? Mars has to repeat territory a couple times, 3 times actually, instead of just when he's direct moving across territory one time. So for the last 10 months, we might have been in conflict. So this is a very strategic chess move, right? It's like you're setting up the board and you're making a move that you've thought of in advance, right? And because we have to plan to move forward. It's like we have to get into the next meeting. We have to get into the room where it happened. I love bringing in Hamilton
quotes.
Right?
I love it.
So you are permitted now to get into the room where it happened.
Ooh.
Because you're not held out. And so the question, who are my friends? Who do I like? Who do I want to hang with? May have a different appeal now that they have been square for the last 9 months. And now it's like, oh, who do I relate to? Check it out. It's important.
Interesting.
It's important.
Exciting. So let's move into talisman times. You have finished up 3 talismans. The first was Wednesday, March 10th, to be a scholar for society.
This was with the lawgiver fixed star, Deneb Al-Jedi. And Deneb Al-Jedi sits right at the 22, 23 degrees of Aquarius. And so I really like this one because it sounds interesting. And whether I got the message wrong on when I was writing this, I have to ask Spirit to help me write this. It's kind of like the Sabian symbol lady. That, to be a scholar for society. I am fair in all my negotiations, and I am thorough in all my work. This gives me authority in all things of justice and of social order.
I really, really like that. Just the way that is phrased is very powerful, very well thought out, and it covers all the bases. And it's that median to the scales. It's the one in between. It's holding a pillar of truth and justice, and letting the chaos in the world, ebb and flows, happen alongside.
Yeah, and it's the Mercury that's sitting at the midheaven on this Deneb Al-Jedi. So it's that the informant, the negotiator, the Mercury, the thought, the messenger, the decision maker, is sitting at the top of the midheaven in the career. So this is about helping all social justice. Anyway, really like this one. And I made small beads for this one. So it's a small bead bracelet.
Sweet. And Friday, March 12th, you made 2 talismans. The first, to heal illness.
These are hard to find. I always really like to use the 27th lunar mansion, which is when the moon is between 4 and 17 degrees of Pisces. And the moon was sitting right here at the midheaven. So to heal illness, I think and act as I got to start that over. Hold on.
Okay.
Because I love this part that I almost tripped over. I think and act as my happy, healthy human self.
Oh, yeah.
This angles me toward the healing route I choose to be on. And I arrive.
Beautiful.
So you can see yourself reaching a goal, getting to the place of which you've put yourself on, the path you've put yourself on. And, again, that's that there are only 28 lunar mansions in the whole zodiac, and this is the second last one, the 27th. And I know these won't stay long.
Yeah,
I saw
that one's so
heal
beautiful.
illness quick.
And the same day, to develop a high level of intuition and to inspire creativity.
This is the moon in conjunct Venus and Pisces, and this is a balsamic moon. But in order to just live in the space of like say watery imagination, I guess, is how we inspire creativity and using our intuition. So it is a balsamic moon. Usually I don't use that, but it was the only way I could get the moon applying to a conjunction with Venus, and it's in the 10th house here, and the moon is the ruler of the chart. So I really like this because I was able to get the 2 malefics hidden in a cadent house and in the succeedant house. All right, too much information right there. All right.
You started to lose us, but
let me get to this. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I make my art known in the world. My pieces are all from my personal experiences that can calm and heal others. So because of that balsamic moon, I had to use those energies.
Mm-hmm. And I like that too. I like balsamic moons are very powerful. It's that stitching up those last little bits that we need and finalizing. So the upcoming talismans that you have this week, starting today, Monday, March 15th, to reunite friends.
The power I feel with those I love and respect reflects on me. I then become the whole and centered being I am. We all circle together. I like this one.
Are
Now,
we still friends?
this is Moon in the second lunar mansion between 12 and 25 of Aries. And the Moon is making a really nice sextile to the Jupiter in the 11th house of Friends. Yeah.
And that is such a beautiful time when you haven't seen a friend in a while or you've just been out of touch, and to come back together and to feel those amazing moments of friendship. They're exhilarating and exciting and laughter filled and tear filled, so.
Can I bring this other
go ahead.
perception? That you go to a group, the group that you used to hang with a year and a half ago, and some of the people don't laugh. Some of the people are not, they haven't grown in this last year period or so.
Mm-hmm.
You will know. And so it's to reunite friends and to find the power with those that you love and respect. In fact, right? So it could be, and that those reflect on me. So if I don't love and respect this person any longer, that reflects on me. So I wanted to bring in, yes, the yummy good, because that's what we want, but we also have to know that there are, there's seasons.
And
this could be the season of, letting go of someone that you now haven't been around and feel that, oh, you know what? They've always been like that. I never sensed that brought me down.
Mm. Yeah, and I think it's good to have those boundaries too, especially if you need to make those breaks.
So I'm going to reread this.
That can be hard, yeah.
I want to just we just finished our constellation bracelet workshop this morning, where we get into these conversations like this with the group, which is pretty inspiring. I love our conversations. But let's just look at this from a different perspective. To reunite friends. The power I feel with those I love and respect reflects on me. I then become the whole and centered being I am. We all circle together. So this could be that somebody's not coming to circle together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see
right?
that. I see that too.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
I like to break it down.
Thursday, March 18th, to receive all goods and benefits.
Come on. Right. I ask for the things I want. The all-knowing universe delivers them to me. I receive and acknowledge. This is the moon exalted in the second house of money and possessions, and it's making a really nice sextile to Venus coming up over the horizon. So it's about, wishes and wants and desires of goods and benefits and everything.
Easy,
Venus,
awesome talisman.
And actually the moon is in Taurus, like I mentioned, where the moon is exalted, but is ruled by Venus, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's in Taurus.
Right.
What rules Taurus? Venus. Go check Venus. Venus is coming up in her exaltation spot on the ascendant. And this is a new moon. So this is a cool one. I hope somebody grabs this one in pre-sale, so that they're involved with me.
Yes.
Because it's early in the morning, early in the morning on Thursday, March 18th. So if you're interested in this, I'll have to get you the information so that you are in meditation. You get to pick the style, you get to pick the colors, and I let you know the time, and we do a countdown.
Right. And really,
cool.
You can do that with all pre-sale talismans.
All pre-sales.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you head to our website and you check out the pre-sale section, there you go. So Sunday, March 21st, to enjoy positive public attention.
I shine no matter what the conditions in the world are. I am noticed for my life force and my vitality. Others can see and feel it in themselves as well. We've got the moon. The moon is in Gemini and is making a last connection at the 29 degrees, last connection to Venus. and he's making the moon, excuse me, she's making the application to a square to Venus. Venus is sitting actually right on my sun at 29 Pisces, but the moon has already moved into Aries, and this is moon's exaltation. So check this out. Both planets here, Venus and the sun, are each in their exaltation.
Yeah, that's
Venus
nice.
in Pisces and the sun in Aries. That doesn't happen every year for sure.
Right.
And to have the moon in this exact last degree, with it not being void of course, odd. So this is a really, to enjoy positive public attention.
Right.
Come on.
And
Regardless
like,
of what's
me,
going on in the world.
Right. It just seems like a really bright smile, you know, that cheers you up, that you can become that bright smile that is, you know, brightening the day for others. So,
Whew, that's a lot.
Okay, Talisman times. Yes. Don't forget that the orbit of the month is I express love and affection. That you can head over to the website or click the link in the description below. And on the horizon, let's move in. We have March 18th. This is our last chance for the Venus in Pisces. This is a personal talisman. So the time has already been chosen. However, if you want to be a part of creating this talisman, you get to pick everything down to the patterns. So there's a huge choice of 18 different patterns that you get to choose from. You get to choose the style of the bracelet, and this talisman is made just for you. The message is, the intention is to develop a high level of intuition and to inspire creativity. The affirmation you and Sandy write via a 30-minute consultation together. I think that when you can have a guide there, like Sandy, to figure out what your affirmation is, it's so powerful. And, you know, all of our listeners, you've heard all these affirmations. They're beautifully written, and you can write your own intention here and make it that much more impactful for you. And so I just wanted to share that. So next up, we have on your birthday, we actually have March 19th, we have an email going out that's Sandy's birthday surprise.
Woo woo.
So if you don't already get our emails, you want to sign up to get the email. The link is below. If you want to just email me, alex@intentionbeads.com, and let me know what you're interested in. If you're interested in getting that email, or even the She Beads pop-up sale that we have going on, I can add you to either or. So stay tuned for more info on that She Bead sale. But this one in particular is going to be really cool, and I'll give all you podcast listeners a
heads up.
We're going to go 15% off the website, or you can opt in for 30% off the website if you review us on Google.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your creative means working, because I always like to, I know we had this conversation a month or so, and I'm like, I always like to give something for my birthday.
Right.
And let's do a little birthday gift to everyone who's interested in a talisman.
Right.
And so you figured it out, and 15% off, or 30, which is double that.
Right.
If you do this, that, and the other thing, right?
Right. So
for me, it's like jumping up and down at the same time of flipping. I have to figure out how to do that.
I have the link. All you have to do is click once and then type.
Oh,
That's all you
good.
have to do. So with the birthday 15% off, you can use the birthday code birthday15, or if you send in that Google review, email me, I will send you a personal 30% off coupon code just for you. So I think that's a great option, and it's a great, birthday present to give to you.
And because if it, it'll be a talisman of some sort, and if it's the universal talisman. Ooh. Then I'm going to activate that for you. And so we'll have a 15-minute consultation that's included in the price, even at the discount. And, that'll be including the orbit necklaces, the chakra bracelet stack, and any universal and personal intention bracelet. It's not covering any of the workshops or
no
readings.
Workshops, no readings, but that's 90% of our website. So yes, sign up to get the email. Link is in the description. You can also email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. So,
well, I have a question. If they're already on our email, wouldn't they get this email?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're already getting our emails, you don't need to email Alex. Okay, got it.
Let's move on to March 20th. Do not forget we have our April forecast. This is happening a week ahead of time, and we will be having our cheat sheet available soon. I don't have it here. The link will be coming, and if you want to know when that is coming, go ahead and sign up for our mailing list, and I will notify you when that cheat sheet is out.
It could be today, at some point today.
It could be.
I'm done with my part.
Yes, you are. So, I wanted to mention we have our previous company called She Beads. This is the one that, Mom, you made out of your basement at home. This was per the request of Michael Jordan. This is like the beginnings of what we now have as an intention beads. We are having a pop-up sale. This is going to be for Easter and Mother's Day. And we're really excited about this because we only do this about like once a year, maybe twice a year.
We've decided to do it twice this year.
So the Mother's Day patterns we're really excited about. They look fabulous. They look elegant. They look cheery. They look springy. So, and of course the little Easter bunnies that the Easter bunny and the Easter baskets we're going to be popping out are going to be cute as well.
I want to make a comment here too, because we have always been in Bali around this time. And so we have not over the last 6 years run a Easter or Mother's Day pop-up. And of course we knew we weren't going to Bali about, you and I, 2 weeks before we were supposed to go last year. So we didn't have enough time to
prepare.
We were still in the shock and awe like everyone else was as we were canceling our Bali retreat. And we had space and time to say, you know what, let's involve ourselves in some new creativity work. We spent the night last night at the storage where we have tons of all of the clays and canes that we've done over the last 27 years. And it was fun. We're re-energizing some of these canes, and we're going to come at you with some Mother's Day collections. And actually, I'm redoing the little mini rosary, the sterling silver mini rosary with 10
that goes around your wrist.
In all sterling, which I used to do years ago. But anyway, check out.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're delicate. They're perfect for an Easter present. So April 10th through 16th, we have our 7-day intention challenge. This is just another reminder. If you don't have a talisman yourself, we do have probably one of our biggest stocks. We have our biggest stock because, we really haven't had many, you have been here the last 365 days to be available at all of these opportunities. Sometimes we're traveling and sometimes we have other meetings, but really this is like our biggest, hardiest offering with talismans that we have on the site right now. So if you want to join that 7-day intention challenge, you can join if you have one of these universal or personal talismans. Email me, alex@intentionbeads.com, to confirm if you are invited or not. So May 11th through June 24th, we have our summer solstice constellation bracelet workshop. We've been talking about this for, a while. And even today, we had another meeting together with our CBW people, and it's powerful. Everyone today we have a time where we share what we're most grateful for, And it was the group, these ceremonies, the bead making, you and you as your guide that you are, Mom. And there is so much that we do in these like hour to an hour and a half slots every of these 14 times that we meet that is so powerful. Mm-hmm. And it works. It's a practical use of applying astrology and co-creating with it, correlating it into our lives. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the most powerful thing that we do.
It is the most powerful thing because typically, always in the group, when I'll go over their chart with whatever aspect I've pulled in for the day and I teach about it, and then we apply that to each individual chart of everybody that's on, and small group, no more than 8. And I'll talk about what that energy is for them, and they'll say, "Oh, that is so weird. You should say that." They always start that way, right? It's like I did that.
Funny you should say
or
that.
That's happening, yes. Right. Or I've been sensing that. So the fact that it's astrologer confirming. Or in my group, me, the astrologer, that is saying, yes, go with that.
It's confirming and confidence building. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a very simple way to say it.
And it's a small group. And so it's, 8 people. And we have some spaces left available for the next summer. But they're starting to move.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's move into our house. And this week it is Sandy's birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, the optimistic astrologer.
That's getting older and wiser.
So this is a huge milestone birthday. So we need to applaud. Like, you've done everything right up until this point.
And now it's all downhill.
No, it's not.
Well, kind of. Except it's easier if you have a walker. It's
a slide.
Right. I remember being 13. Well, not really. But, being a teenager, right? Or I remember being 6. I do remember that, able to go 2 hands. I'm 6.
Right.
So there's been these big time, 21, I'm allowed to drink, even though I already knew how.
Well, it was probably like 18, 16, you're allowed to drive, yeah.
And you remember those. You remember the 30 and then the 40 and then you get to 50 and then, oh my God, you get to 60, right? So there are milestones, but I have to reflect and remember this is the biggest one.
It always is the biggest one.
It always is. But when I look back, it's like everybody wait till you're 65 because you get dropped from your regular medical and health insurance. You got to pick up Medicare, and you get a Medicare card that says, I have assistance, I have help for anything that happens to my body. And because it's getting older and it's not at its peak vitality facility for itself. So here the country is going to help you get along. Here you go. Weird. It was weird. And then you get all these things in the mail and it's like, oh, am I right? You've got to make another decision. I'm 65. I can't make decisions like I did when I was 30. Right? It's so funny.
You can make better decisions than when you were 30.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, insurance is like, okay, HMO, B plan. You got to copay, and you got to do this, and you got to codependency. And then it's like, I don't know, like what?
Every single time that I'm shopping for insurance is that problem.
My Mercury is in Pisces. Are you seriously telling me I got to figure all this out and weigh it from each other? I can't.
It's a lot.
What letters do I like? I'm going to go with that one, right? But with the Medicare, you get that same onslaught of, you automatically
all
get
the
A
options.
and B, and then you get, do you want a C? Do you want an F? Oh, are you in the military? You can have a G. Oh, and what's the supplemental? And and you owe it quarterly. It's like, do you want a prescription? Okay. Like, it's, so that's all done. I had to do all that because you get Medicare the first day of the month of your birthday.
Right. So
anyway,
we'll break from our Medicare infomercial to now shift over to tell me what you're excited about for this year.
So I am leaving a fifth house annual perfection. Fifth house is about self-expression and being kind of out there in the world when I wasn't. And I think that's why this year, for a lot of the Zoom calls and the events that we were doing, we were holding, I had to express myself some way. How do I do that when I can't go anywhere? I figured that out. In fact, that first morning of last year, I know I'm stuck on last year, but I knew that I had a Mars-Jupiter connection right on my ascendant for last year. And I woke up the next day and said, I got to do something. I've got to show people. And that's when I got on and I started doing Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Remember, I was producing a film, Instagram film. I wrote it out. I propped it. I sat someplace in my house. I changed my hair, my clothes. I had colorations. I had a sheet that I was reading from that I wrote. And I did that solidly for a good 3 weeks, every single day. Mm-hmm. And that was that first energy. I had Jupiter. I have a Sagittarius ruled fifth house. So I had Jupiter as my time lord. Completely different now as I move into a sixth house. And anybody moving into a sixth house that is any relation, let's do the math in our head, 65, go to 12 years, so, or 77 years old, you're moving into a sixth house. Let's go back the other way. So subtract 12 from 65.
52.
And we're at 52, and go back from there, 40, and go back from there, 28. So these are times when you're moving into a sixth house perfected year. Sixth house is about your health. It's to avoid illness. That's why it's about health. Mm-hmm. It is about the people that you work with, your environment, your work environment, the work that I do.
And you've gotten a head start on that this year.
And paying attention to my routine and what do I do what do I put in my mouth? What is, so interesting that for me then is ruled by, it's a Capricorn, because I went from a Sagittarius, I go to a Capricorn is the next sign, and it's ruled by Saturn. So the Saturn will be in my sixth house. So really it is for me all about my focus and my goals for my health and my work. Mm-hmm. But they have to balance. Right. And if that's such a word, Sherry Salata, my good friend, says there is no such thing. And you know that you think I work too hard, but actually I think what that's doing is keeping my body vital, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I've got a doctor's appointment the week after my birthday. I've got, my naturopath. And, I've been on, I don't know how many, 16 supplements a day in preparation for this, because I wanted to purposefully attack or attach so nothing was sliding in through the cracks.
Right.
So sixth house, there's the fourth, the 8th, and the 12th that have to do with mortality. And so those oftentimes can be times where you're like, oh, I'm going into one of these houses, and that could have a little bit of a, what's this about for me? We've been on, if we're this age or even your age, Alex, you've been there many times in any of those houses. And so it's just having that focus. And so sixth house is about health. It's about illness. So it's a huge focus for me.
Yep.
So cheers to my green smoothie that I have every day,
yes.
with all my, and just interesting. Are you interested to know what I put in this?
Sure.
turmeric, of course, tons of spinach, 1 banana that's raw. You're supposed to use raw banana because if it's too ripe, it's full of sugar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 date for sweetness and a little chewy. And then maca. And, okay, am I out of time? Or that was the truth? And, oh my gosh, there's this something for...
it's similar to ashwagandha, but
that
it's
and
Ayurvedic.
And chia seeds and coconut water. And there's one other thing I was missing.
You pack that. Celery?
No.
Vegetable?
But it's a powder. I get it from the health food store. It's one other thing, but I can't remember it now. Flaxseed.
Ah, nice.
Flaxseed meal. So I've been doing that for 4 years, preparing for the 6th house.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So Saturn will keep me on point, keep me in this long kind of tunnel of a focus. And I think it's a good place that's happening.
Yes.
So I'm excited.
And anything else in your solar return that you're picking up?
I get the Venus on my sun, and that might bring me, more beauty, more aesthetics that I'm very curious. Maybe I'll get out some of my old clothes and make sure I fit into them. It could be a relationship. We'll look and see how that shows up because I'm not putting on my binoculars and goggles and using a metal detector as I walk out the door. I'm not doing that.
You never
I've
do that.
asked for it to come right to my front door. And actually, you know the story of that.
That's happened in the
That's
past.
happened. Literally walked to my front door, ding dong.
Yes.
Anyway, that's another story.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I know it's going to be, very regimented, very health oriented, but I'll jump on that train with you. I'm excited to.
The other thing is Moon in Gemini.
Mars in Gemini, no?
Well, it's applying to Mars in Gemini.
Ah, okay.
So that can either make me be prolific in writing, or it could just piss me off.
Okay, let's hope it's the former.
I'm talking out both sides of my neck kind of thing, or steaming. But to me, I want that to be that I'm more energized to do multiple things.
Oh, yeah. And I think you always have that bottomless energy.
And let's see, because Moon represents home, right? Moon represents home. And let's just see if that puts me in a place of 2 homes or multiples or sharing. Something around I move.
Right.
Let's just those are possibilities. Let's see.
Okay. Well, happy birthday, Mom.
Thank
we
you,
all love
Alex.
you, and we're wishing you the best health, routine, determination, and energy on this 65th year. So thank you, everybody, for listening. We are celebrating this Talisman Temptress, so make sure to email alex@intentionbeads.com, and I will forward any birthday messages over to Sandy. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so